Hi, I'm Jacqueline Veltiti, and today I'm going to be reviewing some paints. I've tried several as I've been refinishing furniture over the past year, and so I thought I'd take a second to just tell you a little bit about what I like and what I don't like. First of all of the paints that I'm going to review I bought because I saw people making really beautiful things with them. So all of the paints that I'm reviewing, I'm not saying that you can't get beautiful results with them. For me, it's just a matter of how much time and how much money do you want to spend in order to achieve those results. That's really kind of the measure that I base my reviews off of, and that's my goal, is to save people time and money, save myself time and money. So here we go. The first paint that I'm just talking about, any Sloan. I do not like any Sloan at all. Don't buy it, don't do it. This is the only paint that I actually would not recommend you buy, period. The coverage isn't very good. I cannot get the coverage. I mean, and I've talked to several people actually, and it's pretty unanimous that the coverage really sucks. And that's not to say that it's, you know, not better than milk paint or, you know, the first coat of milk paint or something like that. I'm just saying that when you compare for what you're paying for this stuff and what you could pay for other stuff, that other chalk paint, it sucks. Plain and simple. You're going to pay an arm and a leg for it, and you're not going to get as good of results as you could elsewhere. For example, another product that I really like is, actually, what am I saying? Another product that I like. Another product is Deco Art, Americana Decor. Hobby Lobby sells this. Take a moment for the plane to pass by. Hobby Lobby's chalk paint is awesome. It really, really is. I love it because it is cheap and it is thick, and you can get good coverage, you can get good results, and honestly it's very convenient because I can just hop right down the road to Hobby Lobby. I don't have to ship paint or, you know, order something online and then wait for it to arrive. That's kind of one of the biggest advantages of Hobby Lobby. And when I first started out, Hobby Lobby paint was all I used, and I got the best piece I ever did was with Hobby Lobby paint. So there is something to be said of, you know, I don't know. Sometimes if you can pay an arm and a leg, but sometimes you don't always get what you paid for. With Hobby Lobby, this is just such a good bang for your buck. I highly recommend it. Okay, so what's the next one here? Pure and Original paint is another one of my favorites. This is a chalk paint. This is their Classico line is their chalk paint line. And these colors are amazing. I don't see colors like what Pure and Original has. Pure and Original, they do a lot of wall stuff, and so you're gonna get more earthy tones and you're gonna get more kind of neutral stuff, but I mean, these are just gorgeous, gorgeous colors, and the coverage is awesome. The price point is about Annie Sloan, so I would say, you know, if you're prepared to pay an Annie Sloan price, just get this stuff instead. You're gonna like it so much more, and I really think you're gonna just be a lot happier with the way you spent your money. The coverage is amazing, and the feel of this stuff, it's like painting with like something velvet. It's just stunningly awesome. Beautiful results. I would recommend this all day long. So the next thing here we've got, okay, so I've got some Dixie Belle paint, and this is right now this is my paint of choice for furniture. This is a chalk mineral paint. And I really love this for its blending properties, and I love it for the coverage is really good too. One unique thing about this mineral paint is that I can get it to chip, which is kind of different. Chalk paint, I really can't get to chip very well, so I usually, when I was doing like, I only recently started using mineral-based paint, but prior to that, I was using just chalk paint or milk paint, and if I needed to achieve a chippy result, I would go to the milk paint. And then usually I just accepted that if I was working with chalk paint, it wasn't gonna chip. The nice thing is with Dixie Belle paint, and I don't know if this is true about all mineral paint, I'm just speaking to Dixie Belle right now. Dixie Belle, I can get it to chip. And I can also get really, really good coverage with this stuff. The blending is amazing, 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 and I can't stop talking about the blending because you really have to experience it to understand. You can blend all day long. You can add water to it, which is good, and it's just I really enjoy working with this paint. It's just a personal preference thing, and I really recommend that you at least try some kind of mineral paint, and I highly recommend Dixie Belle. The price point is awesome. It's about $9.99 for something like this. So that's, I can't say enough good things about it, really. So the next thing here, okay, DIY paint. Oh my gosh, DIY paint. I hate it. I hate it so much. And that's not to say that I wouldn't recommend buying it, okay? Any Sloan paint is the only paint that I would actually not recommend you buy. DIY paint is a clay-based paint, which is a little bit different. Actually, it's totally different than any of the other paints that I've reviewed so far. DIY paint is saturated in pigment, and it's you're going to get some really vibrant results with this stuff. However, I will say that because it's clay-based paints, I don't know, I mean, I don't really know how to describe this stuff. It's like if I needed to paint something for maybe a kindergarten classroom, I would use this stuff. The paint color selection I find to be a little loud, and that's me personally. The problem that I find working with DIY paint is it tends to look like a unicorn threw up on my project, and there's a wide variety, or there's just this huge range of what the color looks like when you're working with it wet, when you're working versus when it dries. And so if you're working on a piece for a long period of time, it's going to be a little bit tough, because you're going to notice that your piece is going to start to change colors, and you're going to try and keep working on it, and it's hard to see where the wet and the dry, what is a color because it's wet versus dry. When you go back over it, when you seal it up, it will turn a little bit darker, but you know, the other thing for me is the consistency. It is thick stuff, and if it can glop up in corners, like for like drawers and stuff like that, on like the undersides of drawers, things like and it'll cake up. That's the word I'm looking for, is it cakes up on your piece, and every nook and cranny, it just tends to glop up, and it's a mess. I mean, I've ruined pieces before because I've started out with DIY paint and then wanted to switch directions, switched up to another paint, and then I ended up, I'm like, I see every single brush stroke basically cemented in stone from the DIY paint. So I don't know. It depends on what kind of look you're going for. There's a time and a place for DIY paint. For me, there is never a time and a place for DIY paint anymore. I tried it, I've been there, I've done that. I made one good thing with it, and I probably messed up about 5 other ones. So I'm just not going to touch it anymore, but it's up to you. You just have to decide for yourself. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to go through is milk paint, and that is Miss Mustard Seed milk paint. I absolutely love it. I love it because awesome blending properties. Let's see here, you do have to mix it with water. Okay, so that's kind of the thing about milk paint. It's a powder form, and then you put water, you pour it into something, and then you pour water, you mix it with water, and depending on how thick you make it, you know, you can kind of control how much coverage you're gonna get and how much, you know, just, I guess just how thick you want your color to be. And that's fine, that's great. I pretty much accept that with milk paint, you're gonna need at least one coat. You're going to need at least 2 coats. Your first coat isn't going to give you a lot of coverage. Your second coat will, depending on how you mix the paint. And the nice thing is you can get milk paint to chip. And so you can actually get this like chippy look. And I love that. The blending is fantastic because it's like working with watercolor. It's a water base, and so as you're working with it, my gosh, it is a joy to just work with that stuff. I really love the milk paint. The only thing that I don't like about it is the price point. It's gonna be, if I remember correctly, a package like this produces a quart, and I believe it was somewhere along the lines of like in the $20 range. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. Subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna try and post more. So yeah, all right. Thanks.